Everybody. Welcome to the show, Tactical and Technical Podcast. Mr. Grizz and Ethan here today. We were gone last week. We both had pretty busy weeks with a lot of things going on, a lot of travel and stuff like that. Um, Tell us what were you doing last week?
Well, first of all, the most important thing that happened last week, I became an adult. I now use 6 milligrams instead of fours. I bet you're proud of me.
I used 15,
Yeah,
and I
he's
put two at a time with the
you're
15s.
gonna die young. But yeah, no, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I grew up a little bit in life. Yeah, so we talked about it a little bit last week. I went down with the Army Sniper Association, got my sick Army Sniper T-shirt, and Ty's got his sick Scout Sniper T-shirt. We didn't plan this, but it's perfect. But I was hanging out with the Army Sniper Association over the week. Really, really long trip. So international sniper competition at Fort Benning, Georgia, Monday through Tuesday. Right. I drive up to Atlanta to get on a plane to go out to boot and shoot in Dallas Fort Worth with our buddy Jimmy and Valor Mission Project, and then came home. Not home. Came back to Fort Benning for the best ranger competition. So it was a super long week, but man, it was absolutely incredible. I didn't think that like when you think about at least a military guy like me, when you think about snipers, you think about dudes like hiding in a bush somewhere, you know? These dudes were like running and gunning, like with tripods, shooting tripods, and all kinds of really awesome techie gear. And I mean, these dudes are like, I didn't understand the level of like professionalism and level of skill that this took. I mean, these dudes are like running from here to there, here to there, here to there, you know, getting down on the gun and taking shots at like 800 meters within like seconds. You know, spotters are like, you got 7 miles of wind, give me, they're talking Chinese to me, right? Give me 2 clicks right, fire, hold left edge, fire when ready. Boom, ding, impact. Like, just absolutely nuts. It was a super cool time. The Army Sniper Association put on the coolest banquet I had ever seen. They had they had $300,000 on the winners table. $300,000 worth of stuff on the winners table. The two guys that won it, so that the way these shooting competitions work is the winners table, you get to do the winners walk. And so first place gets to go first and they get to pick whatever they want. And then second place goes and they pick whatever they want. And everybody gets an opportunity to pick something. By the end you're only picking up like little, Molly pouches or something like that, if you're like in last place. But dude, the first place guys took home their a free Barrett ELR rifle, extreme long range rifle, in the caliber of their choice with like a couple hundred rounds of ammunition, like $20,000 prize. Like, and they were so cool about it too. They just were like, yeah, this one, and just walked off.
Yeah, well,
Like,
for those guys, that's like for them, that's like, yeah, cool. I
yep,
won.
whatever.
I
I won.
shot the farthest.
Yeah.
Give me
To
my thing so I can go home because
yeah,
they do it every day.
yeah,
They're in the mix. They're in training. They're in all their for guys like us. We're like, oh, whoa,
yeah,
dude! Like
exactly. That
this is
that's
amazing.
so the cool one of the million cool things that happened on this trip. We could do literally a whole podcast on the trip that I did because I had to start organizing the stories because it was so incredible. But I think one of the coolest things that happened was I was there. The Marine Corps shooting team won the competition. The Marine Corps won for the first time in 17 years. And they not only won, but they won by like 200 points. It was insane. So I know Tyler Johnson
Yeah,
from
I know Tyler.
Majorland. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know
you remember
Tyler.
Tyler. Super humble dude. Like one of those humble Marines that I've
And he's so quiet and just so
that
he's
sick mustache.
yeah yeah he's just super quiet,
Yeah.
super just he's just there.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I'm sure when he's out with his friends, he's a little more like open and outgoing
Yeah.
and stuff. But man, like when you first meet him, or when he's so humble
So man.
with all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and for somebody like me who's not a shooter, not experienced, not knowing what's going on, when we met him at Major Land Sniper Cup and we were following them around,
Yeah.
he was very nice and polite and was
Mm-hmm.
just super like,
Yeah.
he'd let me ask him questions.
Yeah.
It's just, but it's funny. You look at him and you're just like, this goofball. Like
Yeah.
he looks
Yeah.
kind of like a goofball,
Yeah.
like with
Yeah.
the mustache and
That
stuff,
that's sick mustache.
But
I'm about to tell you a story that's gonna triple down on his humility. I didn't get to see a lot of the competition. I saw like a couple stages. I was working like, picking up tables and getting ready with the Army Sniper Association. And I walked up to him when they were gonna do the private, like team only, who won the competition thing out on Burroughs Range on Fort Benning. And I walk up to him and I tap him on the shoulder and I'm like, "How'd you do, man? How'd you do?" He looks me dead in the eyes and goes, "We did all right." A guy taps me on the shoulder from behind me and is like, "Yeah, they didn't do all right. They won." And he had walked away from me and I run him down. I'm like, "You did all right? You took first place. What do you mean you did all right?" And he was like, "Man, we just came out here and did our thing. We're happy with the results."
yeah,
I was like, "You gotta be kidding me, dude!" And I was like, "This is the first time in 2009 was the last time that Scout Snipers or any Marines won the competition." And yeah, I was just blown away by how humble
it's
that
like,
guy is.
watching Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant
Yeah,
do their post game interviews.
yeah,
Yeah, we played good.
yeah. We played all right.
You
Yeah,
know,
we played good.
could have made a couple changes on the court, but all in all, we went
Yeah.
out for a good effort.
Yeah, they did awesome. If you get a chance, you got to go check out the Army Sniper Association's Facebook and Instagram page. Like, there's so many posts about ISC. The guest speaker at the banquet was a legendary Army Ranger named Jeff Struker. He was in the Battle of Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down. He gave an incredible speech. I don't know if you know the story of Randy Gordon and I think Gary Gordon and Randy Shugart. I might be getting their names switched up, but they're the two Medal of Honor recipients from the Black Hawk Down movie. The guys who asked 4 times to like go in and secure Mike Durant and fought to their last rounds and gave their lives. He gave an incredible speech on those guys' valor and their sacrifice to the sniper community and to the nation and to Mike Durant. And man, the standing ovation. Dudes were like ready to bum rush the nearest recruiting office. I had like 50-year-old guys be like, "Where's the recruiting office? Let's go right now. Let's get back in it." It was an incredible time. Boot and shoot this year, dude. They did $1 million. They raised $1 million in 48 hours. Like the private whiskey and scars event was incredible. And then boot shoot the next day was nuts. The city that they're in, they always try to live up to this moniker of the most patriotic day in Texas, and it's literally official now because the city that they're in, I think it's Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5:30 in the morning right now, so I'm a little sleepy. But the city of Louisville sent them a letter and they read it off on the stage. And it was like, "This is in fact the most patriotic day in Texas, authorized by the city of Louisville. The second Thursday of April is declared the most patriotic day in Texas for boot and shoot." And so it's the boot and shoots on the second Thursday of April every year in perpetuity going forward, rain or shine. It was absolutely nuts. I got to hang out with a couple Gold Star families. I got to meet Ruthie. Her husband, Mike Goodbow, was a ground branch CIA operator who gave his life in November of 2020 in Somalia doing the sneaky things that the CIA did. And the way you talk to Gold Star families, if you ever get the opportunity, is you just tell me about your son, tell me about your husband, tell me about your brother. That's all you do, and you just let them talk. And Ruthie, you expect like a little bit of dread to come in, this, "Oh yeah, Mike was amazing. I loved him very much." She just lights up with happiness because she just loves talking about Mike. She loves talking about her late husband. And former DevGru guy, Navy SEAL Team 6 dude. Um, it, Guys in the room were saying like, you met him once, you never forgot him. Just an absolute stud PT unit, greatest shooter. Yeah, it was the fire in my soul was hot to keep pressing on to keep doing more. Came back, best ranger. Holy crap, man! Like I'm a Marine vet, and I was saying it all over the place. It's true. Rangers lead the way. Like these dudes are some of the most physically fit, absolute warriors that I have ever met in my entire life. It's a 60-hour competition, day and night. They go for 60 hours straight. There are like 60 teams, 50 teams, something like that, and only 16 of them actually completed the competition. And the top 3 were all from the 75th Ranger Regiment, so all Ranger Battalion guys. And I had thought, because at the International Sniper Competition, like you go to bed, like you go do your events, and then you like go home and you go to sleep. Uh, Best Rangers, they go all day, all night, obstacle courses, shooting events. Like it was nuts, absolutely nuts to see. The guys who won that, they went home with freaking staccatos. They had staccatos set down. I think they're new, like concealed carry, maybe like 3.5 inch or something like that. I'm not very versed on staccatos, but yeah, they both won staccatos from the competition. First time in 40 years that a corporal and a sergeant won. Usually it's been like a lieutenant and a captain or a staff sergeant or a sergeant first class, like some higher ranks. First time in 40 years that a corporal and a sergeant won the entire competition. So yeah, I could tell about a dozen more stories from this trip, but dude, I'm just total fire in my soul to.
Was it like when we went to Major Land? You had a bunch of civilian competitors too, or was it
No,
literally
all military.
was
So
all
this is
military?
this is infantry week at Fort Benning. Fort Benning, I learned a lot more about the army, when I was there, but Fort Benning is the home of the infantry. It's where airborne school is, infantry school, basic, ranger school. It's the home of the infantry. And so every year they put on Infantry Week, and it's all these competitions: best ranger, best sniper, the ISC International Sniper, best mortarman, best fire, best squad, and then the Lacerda Cup, which is like hand to hand combat, like BJJ and MMA and stuff. I got to meet. One more story on it because it's so cool. Uh, Marina Lacerda is the widow of Staff Sergeant Lacerda. Staff Sergeant Lacerda was from Brazil, a BJJ legend, trained under the Gracie family, and he died tragically in I think 2010 or 11 in a training accident. He was going to airborne training and jumped out of a plane. His chute didn't open. His reserve opened, but he hit the ground really hard. And I was talking to his wife Marina, and I guess the next day he was out like PTing, and he like started to seize, and he passed away from some brain injuries that weren't seen or noticed like from his fall. And so he was a huge proponent in the ranger community for combatives, hand-to-hand combat. He trained up hundreds of rangers in new forms of hand-to-hand combat from his time in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And in his honor, they named this event the Lacerda Cup, and got to hang out with his wife, and got invited. She we had such a great time hanging out. She said, "You come with me next year. You sit in the VIP section of the finals of the Lacerda Cup. You come with me." I was like, "Count me in, lady. That's awesome. Let's go." So yeah, I could talk ad nauseum a dozen different stories about the week. I'm just super blessed, super excited to be in the job. You were down, no, up. You're up in
Up.
Oxford, North Carolina.
Yep. I
For
didn't have the exciting week that you had.
you got
I
to
had a
shoot.
busy week
Yeah,
in the
tell me
office,
about it. Tell me about it.
but I was able to go up to Oxford, North Carolina to Range Fest with the Scout Sniper Association uh, to create some content for them. Range Fest is kind of like a miniature shot show
Yeah.
range day.
Okay. Cool.
We went to True North outdoor shooting range, and they had a bunch of lanes set up. They had a bunch of vendors out there, a bunch of different gun companies, builders, No real big names that really stood out, but they were a bunch of just really good builders.
Hmm.
You had like a lot of fully automatics out there.
Rad.
The John Wick table,
Oh
right,
yeah.
with like Terran Tactical. They had
Oh,
that
that's a big
the
name.
CZ Shadow out
Okay, cool.
there. Um, they had I think they had a 350-yard long range setup.
Okay,
They
cool.
had a table out there for kids with
Sick.
the about a lot of the air pistols and
Teach them young.
air rifles and stuff like that. They even had clay shooting
That's
going
what's
on
up.
out there. But it's put on by it's Range Fest and Dirty Bird.
Okay.
Um, and it was really cool. They had band out there. Uh, from the Sniper Association, you had the president's Steve Amiot, and then you had three other of their VPs out there doing stuff, and they were raffling, doing raffles at the table. They had a few rifles that they were raffling, and a bunch of mags and a bunch of other stuff. And then they had the Barrett that
Sick.
they're
Oh,
raffling
you got
off.
to see it in
Yeah, I
person.
got to see it in person.
Is it as cool as it looks?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Funny story. I took a couple of my buddies up there, Rob and Ben. They live in my neighborhood, and Rob's a retired, or
I think Rob is retired.
is he retired? I don't
I'm
know.
pretty
I
sure
get
he's
so
retired.
confused in what's your veteran, your
I'm pretty
retired.
sure he's retired. I think. I think he served for a couple
Yeah.
more
So
years. Yeah.
so anyway, so he was a army infantry guy, and he likes to shoot. So I took him up there with me, and he was shooting the belt fed gun. I don't even remember
Yeah.
which gun it was, but so I'm sitting there filming him shooting, and it jams up on him, and next thing you know, they're like taking it apart and completely dismantling it because he I don't know if he actually did it, but it was just funny. It was out of commission for about an hour and a half.
I bring my friends up and they break the belt fed.
I
God.
know, I know. So, but yeah, it was really good turnout. Really neat to see all the people come. They had like a VIP thing in the morning. They had all these other companies out there doing raffles and giveaways, and they had a band and food trucks and all that. There was probably 300 people throughout the time that we were there. We were there for a good 4 or 5 hours, so you'll be able to see that content pretty soon on the Scout Sniper page. I'm hoping. I mean, dude, you were gone for a week at some really cool stuff. Did you get content at least?
Like one video, dude, it was so much of
How's
like
that possible? You manage content
I
for
need
these
to hire a
guys.
photographer to follow me around everywhere because I'm doing the ripping grin, man. In the words of Steve Amiot, president of the Scout Sniper Association, I'm doing the ripping grin. I'm kissing the hands and shaking the babies and handing out business cards. But I did get a ton of photos. I've started to put some photos out, and then Divids has a ton of content right now on the ISC, on Best Ranger, on all that stuff. So I got a couple really short videos, and I took my cool guy pictures, like with the at the the sniper schoolhouse
Yeah, yeah, I
sign
saw
and
those.
the Ranger battalion or the Ranger training battalion sign. It says Ranger, not for the weak or faint of heart. I'm like, yeah, I need a picture next to that thing. But yeah, man, I need to hire a photographer, a videographer, or just attach you to my hip and
Well,
bring you
no,
around
you should have
everywhere.
just took some gear. I mean, you could have
Yeah,
taken this GoPro,
I could have
just
taken.
snatched it,
Yep,
put it on your bag, or put it on your hat, or
it's
whatever.
it's one of those things I
I
need to get
mean,
better at. I need to up my Zen game, and I need to get better at filming content. And I definitely need to do that.
so another little funny story is the belt fed, right? They were using motor oil
Okay,
to keep it lubricated,
lubricated. Yeah.
right? So Rob gets up there and he's shooting the first little bits of it, right? He gets before it breaks, and dude, just oil just pop, pop, splattered all over his shirt. His wife just bought him this shirt, and so a little shameless plug. The guys over at Heavy Metal Hand Cleaner, these guys right here,
There you go.
they sent us over some product to try out, and so I took this up there with us, and everybody just loved this stuff when it came to cleaning your hands and stuff
Yeah,
after it's
getting all
all
the carbon
natural
off.
products and everything in there. But Rob was able to actually use it on his shirt,
No way.
and it didn't get all of it, but it got a good bit,
That's awesome.
got a good chunk of it out.
That's really
So,
cool.
um,
Heavy metal hand cleaner. We'll have to. It's getting warm here in South Carolina, so we'll have to head out to Mid Carolina Rifle Club. We got a membership there. We'll have to do some shooting, and we'll have to, clean our
I've actually been
clean our
using it at
hands with it.
home.
What are you
Like
even? Can you brush your
just
teeth with it
no,
too?
it's like hand soap, right? Just as hand
That's what's
soap
up.
too. It's really good stuff. Um, Not a lot going on in the AI world this week. You know, we're not going
Yeah.
to talk too much about AI today.
I do want to ask you one question on AI though. Now that I thought about it, I was perusing social media, and I think it might have been a rage baity post that you made, but you had a post up that said "OpenClaw sucks," and then you talked about OpenClaw a bunch. Like, was that just a rage baity title for?
Well, no. So I mean, I've moved. I've moved on.
Really?
I've divorced OpenClaw.
What? You've
So
divorced
yeah,
OpenClaw.
so I've made a changeover from OpenClaw to Hermes,
R.I.P.
which they're all the same, right?
Yeah.
They're wrappers
Yeah.
for agents type stuff.
Mhm.
But OpenClaw's been just really buggy
Yeah.
and not doing what I wanted it to do, and not completing tasks,
Mhm.
or it was saying it was, working on it, and nothing would ever come from it, or I'd have to reset a bunch of things. So I made the change to Hermes, and I haven't had any issues with that. I was able to create 20 videos for one client, 20 videos for another client, and schedule basically out the whole month
That's what's up.
for two people.
Phew.
So the
Lord.
newest thing I'm working on, I'm trying to get a little bit of having the AI bots generate revenue for themselves to just
Interesting.
cover the costs. So I'm working on a uh, AI slave dungeon,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically, where these guys are just going to go on Etsy and Fiverr
Yeah.
and manage their own pages and use it to create digital download documents and PDFs for templated things
Yeah.
and YouTube thumbnails.
So you're telling me they're gonna be like a person on Fiverr
Uh-huh.
that's like, yeah, I'll do your video editing for you.
We're not going to do video on them, because
Yeah, yeah.
I've come to realize that when it comes to video and AI, you cannot just rely on the AI to create everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, Roger burned through. So digitalmayhemlab.com is a site you can go to and access multiple models,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the site that I
I
built.
use it all the time.
And so I buy all these credits, right, to let people use.
Yeah.
Roger burned through all of them. And then he also, I
Damn
got
it, Roger.
I got another AI video thing with API. Roger burned through all those, and it's because he was sending me samples and all this stuff, and he
Yeah.
wasn't picking the right model.
Uh,
So it's very finicky when it comes to. But I mean, yeah, he burned through like $200
Good Lord.
in 24 hours. So
Come on, Roger. You
but
gotta do better.
it's pretty. It's been pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see how these Etsy things go, because they're just going to do image generation,
Uh-huh.
and image generation is cheap, very low costs on the credits and tokens.
Yeah, the Marine Scout Sniper Heritage Foundation. We did some image generation, created some workflows, and I just had ChatGPT do it. And you were telling me that Claude would do a little bit better.
ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Listen,
It's
everybody,
old now.
Get out of ChatGPT. Like, I hate to say that, because I've been a ChatGPT user and proponent for a long time. I still have it just because I feel bad leaving it.
It's $20 a month, whatever.
But man, like, Claude is just
crushing it.
They stepped their game up. I'm hoping that Sam Altman and the OpenClaw guy can get some things in line. But dude, Claude is just they're taking over.
Well, good. I got some Claude work that I need your help with whenever we get off this. But for the purpose of the story, the Heritage Foundation, we had talked on one of our episodes that, like, they have a hard time because their job is history of scout snipers, right? So there's like almost zero video footage past Vietnam, zero photography, right? So I wrote some prompts for storytelling purposes, and they liked it. They liked it a lot. Like it created like 4 images. Like I gave it a couple different prompts, and then I said, okay, great. Now this is the Medal of Honor citation for Scout Sniper Corporal Henry Pruitt in 1918, Mont France, who earned the Medal of Honor as a Scout Sniper. And he did like a bunch of stuff like leading up to this. So I told it to break this citation down into 4 big sections, and then I had it create an image for each of those sections, and it became a post. Right, section 1 was the first thing he did. The second thing he did, like this guy, like captured like 40 German soldiers like on his own. You know, some like you hear some of those like Alvin York stories where they capture 100 Germans like on their own, and the Heritage Foundation they were like, this is sick. Like I even had it go as far because you know how people are, right? Oh, it's AI generated crap. I even had it in all the images have a line on there that said this image was created by AI for storytelling purposes, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So we're gonna start investigating that a little bit more. I'll shift over to Claude on your advice and see how those images pull up, but they were good. They were
So
really good.
when it comes to your image stuff, you really, getting away from Claude, you need to use the Nano Banana Gemini.
You've been telling me about Nano Banana.
That one's way better
Really?
for that.
Yeah, they still got like 6 fingers or
Yeah, Claude.
you know.
Look, Claude. So when it comes to the AI models, Claude is your assistant. It's your workhorse. It's your task doer, right? And then for video and image, Gemini is the way to go. Gemini is getting to do more of the agentic stuff, but they're just Claude's just beating. They're just beating everybody.
Yeah.
Something really cool that I just did was I put Google came out with Gemma 4, which is local, right? So I can shut the internet off on my computer, and I built a full website with the AI. The AI built it all in code on its own. I asked it questions. I just threw out rant because I'm like, there's no way this is going to work. No internet, right?
Yeah.
But somehow on my little laptop, I have a full local model now. So if you're a business that's using HIPAA data, right, or a law firm or whatever, you can now very easily have things stored locally, and the data doesn't get put online. It's not being used to train the cloud models and all that kind of stuff. So pretty neat. I got a meeting today with a guy that's working on I guess a video game company. So that should be pretty cool. Trying to figure out because I'm at a point where like I'm building so much stuff and it's all geared around marketing, right? Because that's what I do,
Of course.
right? But I
Trying to
want to build.
expand a little
I want
bit.
to build more.
Yeah.
I love the building process, but like I don't know what an accounting firm needs. I
Yeah.
don't know what this thing needs. You know what this like what the one of my neighbors, he works in the farm industry. He deals with cow farmers, and he actually is his job. His company teaches farmers how to use social media, right? And so I was doing some work with him, and we got to talking. I don't know
That's a good niche.
I don't know what those guys would need.
Yeah.
But if I could have them get a meeting and talk to them for an hour, I'm sure I could build something.
Yeah.
To help them out.
I bet that dude gets like butcher bags in the mail all the time.
Yeah, he's pretty wild dude.
That's cool.
And then the other thing I did, so I've taken a position on a nonprofit called the Forger Brotherhood.
That's right. Good for you.
So I'm the CTO for them, and I've rebuilt their website for them, and had a meeting with the president of it, and we were going over the website, and he was telling me kind of all the things he wanted, and I ended up building him this amazing dashboard for him to see the analytics and stuff. But I took the guy's been working on this program for 2 years. He had 350 documents that he's
Oh
created
God.
over the last 2 years. I
Yeah.
was able to take all of that and put it into the website as a knowledge base. So now instead of him having to go to multiple things, he can speak to the assistant through the website, and he's just he's just giddy
That's
about
awesome.
everything.
Point A to point B faster.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. Super cool. So what is this new setup that we're using? You'll have to tell me all about it because I don't know anything about it. We're literally doing this podcast on 2 iPhones, and the quality looks incredible.
Yeah,
I'm
so
blown away. What are we doing?
there's an app. It's called Detail,
Detail.
and it's very similar to an app called Riverside,
Okay, I know
where
Riverside.
you can. It's it's designed for like remote podcasting, but Detail. What's really cool about Detail is you can just have one phone. Like I could have one phone sitting right up here
Mm-hmm.
in between us, and it runs the front and the back camera all at one time.
Whoa.
You could plug DJI mics right into it, any USB mic, you just plug it right in. And instead of having to set up a big thing of gear,
Mm-hmm.
carry around a bunch of stuff, fix all this, all your ISO and your settings and everything to make your stuff look good. This thing, these phones, the new phones, we're running a 16 and a 17 Pro Max right now, and
Yeah.
they come out great.
I mean, they're
And
making movies with these things,
oh yeah, I
in
know.
big theaters.
And then when it comes to your editing, inside the app, you can literally just hit edit, and it will do a ton of editing for you
Dude.
automatically. Like it's pretty wild. So that's I just wanted to try it out today.
Well, if it works out good, we should just run with it forever. Try to get Detail as a sponsor since Dixon hasn't hit us up yet. Our Dixons were dirty today, so we didn't wear any.
Well, we just went to these sniper things
Yeah,
too.
why
So I
not?
kind of figured you would wear yours. So I was like, oh,
It's my
I'm
brother
gonna
from
wear
another
mine.
mother. So let me ask you a question about this. You see a lot of these smaller podcasts, see them like done remotely, dudes like put on their laptops, and the host may like be able to have a good setup and stuff, but his guest might be like on his
Yeah.
you
So a
know
lot of times, what you'll see is people that are using their laptop,
yeah,
right? Especially if it's an older person, right? They're
yeah,
using a 30-year-old laptop.
yeah, looking down at it like this, like you can see up
Yeah,
their
got
nose
some jacked
hairs
up
and
camera or
stuff.
something
Yeah.
going on.
So
So with these, like, I could send a link to somebody. They don't even have to have the paid detail account, and it'll upscale the video, gives everybody good quality. It'll upscale the audio for you, so you don't have to worry about having a fancy mic in front of you.
that's
Um,
awesome. So you're saying anybody that has a podcast that's remote needs to look into this for better quality.
yeah, absolutely.
It's we're literally doing this on iPhones. Like this is nuts. Like
Yeah,
the first couple episodes, you had like these enormous like Nikon cameras and these fancy mics, and we still use the fancy mics, but yeah, it's nuts to see this setup with 2 iPhones. It's so cool, so cool. So yeah,
yeah,
if you're a small time podcaster, definitely check out Detail and see if you can't, you know, bring up the quality a little bit of your videos because everybody and their mother's got an iPhone these days.
yeah.
If you have an Android, you're a weirdo. The president of the Army Sniper Association had an Android, and I had to try to set up their Stripe account so that it could take card payments. And I was like, all right, give me your phone. And it's an Android, and I'm like, I don't even know how to work this thing. Where's the app store?
Yeah,
What is this? Like, I
yeah,
hated it. I hated it.
yeah.
And he was like, I love my Android. I'll never get an iPhone. I'm like, you either die hard iPhone dude or a
Well,
die hard Android
your
guy.
your Pepsi or your Coke,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Pepsi or your Coke.
I gotta do another little shameless plug. My dad's been writing a book called God's Guide to the Galaxy. He has taken the knowledge and things that Newton and James Ussher did with the biblical calendar, and has created the formulas to be able to track down the dates of the birth of Christ and all these huge things,
Interesting.
uh, and predictions apparently of the millennium, supposedly September 11th, 2027, controversial date, I know,
Yeah,
but I don't know. He's done a lot of math on this stuff. My
we'll
dad's a pretty
see.
smart guy. You can
Yeah,
go check it out at Amazon. He's got the Kindle book on there, and then I believe the audio might be on there too. But otherwise, you can go to xm316.com and you can get all the white papers. You can get the ebook. You can get the audio book. So
that's
shameless
dope.
plug. Love you, Dad.
Since you brought up the topic of God, I gotta read this thing. So the invocation at the Army Sniper Association's banquet. Holy crap! This dude, former Green Beret, cannot remember his name. He gets up and another literally like everybody's about to storm the recruiting office to like get back in. So I'm just gonna read this invocation because it got posted all over social media. It is lit up right now, and it is the most hardcore war dog prayer that I've ever heard. So I'm gonna read this. You guys go check it out on social media, okay? This is how it starts. Almighty and everlasting God, God of peace and God of war, we give you thanks for these faithful few who have endured the proving of this competition. You have not merely preserved them, you have sharpened them. What they carry from this place is no memory alone, not memory alone, but a keener edge, a refinement of their craft that will manifest as discipline, decisive, and unfettered lethality when next they meet their foe. Father, as the world hardens under the weight of tyranny, leaders and the depraved masses that follow them, see that we are forged here and not blunted. Let every lesson, every technique, every bond of brotherhood be tempered into weapons true and unerring, driven with purpose into the bodies of those who would oppose what is good and true. I ask for peace, Lord, but if we are called to war, then let these men become instruments of death. Let them strike with such precision and overwhelming violence that 1,000 fall to their left and 10,000 to their right. Let not the piercing darkness of night conceal their enemies. Let no distance grant refuge. May each round send deliberate, final, and with favorable wind. Grant, if conflict must come, that it be swift but terrible in its execution. May it break the will of any who would rise against this nation. May those who stand in defiance be cut down in the streets and their lifeblood poured out upon the soil of their own nation as a testament to wrath and justice. Father, your words say that Christ will return, his name being faithful and true, and that in righteousness he will judge and make war. May it be so, Lord. It is in the name of Jesus Christ that we pray. Amen. Standing ovation. Dudes are on their feet. Holy crap. Old Testament all the way. It was nuts. Absolutely nuts. Go check out Army Sniper Association's page if you want to see it. It is blowing up everywhere. It's ridiculous. That Jeff Struker, the legendary Ranger, now his pastor, has his own church and everything. He's historically given the invocation for the ASA banquet. He gets up to do the guest speaker and he said, "It has been my absolute honor to be the de facto chaplain of the ASA, but I think I just lost my job." this dude, this dude was awesome. It was incredible. Um, yeah. What else we got?
I think that's about it, man. That
Yeah.
was a lot. We
Oh
just
man.
packed in a lot of information.
Yeah, a ton. We could.
We're at about our hour.
Yeah, we could probably talk more, but it's good to take a pause. Yeah, take us out.
So yeah, check us out next week. We're looking at
Oh,
probably starting to get some guests next week.
and we got to do
Not
this
next week,
bad
but
boy.
yeah.
While I was at the International Sniper Competition, they asked all the foreign nationals to bring their MREs so they could do a video. They didn't get to the Irish Defense Force MRE. I've never seen one of these. So one of these days on the episode,
Yeah, we're gonna have to pop that open.
we're gonna have to break this thing open and eat it. There's some real questionable stuff on this list, but I brought it back for us so that we could break it open and eat it.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see you next time.